Welcome to Musically Yours. I'm Deirdre Mallehe, introducing Canadian talent, the best of the region. And of course, today I'll be speaking to, wait a minute, I've got to look at his business card to find exactly who he is. Well, I know who he is, but he's got all these credentials. He's a singer, he's a songwriter, he's a rapper, he's a producer, performer, recording artist. And I am very, very glad to welcome Paul Castro, the Identity Crisis, to Musically Yours. Welcome to the show, Paul.
Thank you for having me.
So when did you start all this?
Well, that's a story and a half there, right there.
Yeah, because a lot of these things you started when you were young, or exactly when?
Well, I'll give you sort of the shortened version, the condensed version of the story. I started off as a piano player, guitar player, and then I became a producer, and I started working with other artists. And I said, you know what? There's no way I'm going to make a name as a producer, especially in Canada, because like all these artists, there's so many artists and none of them want to pay. So I figured, you know what, I'm just going to step up to the microphone, become a singer, become a rapper. So that, my solo career took off in 2005.
And
so
then,
I've been at it for a while now.
Right. So now your music, I know, I've heard people saying they're quite therapeutic. And talk to me about that email, Paul, which you received quite a number of years ago, or was it quite recent?
It was recently. It was a couple years ago, actually. It's funny because I don't, when I think of my music specifically, I don't think it's therapeutic. You know what I mean? And it's just,
really?
It's not, it's you know, it's thumping, it's, you know, it's rocking, it's pretty, you know, it's in your face, and it doesn't, I wouldn't think that, hey, let's go to sleep listening to this music.
Yeah, but how did that fan figure it out that you really helped save him his life?
Yeah, well, there was someone on MySpace that was a fan that had been following me for a few years, and sent me an email. I was sort of on the brink of stopping, and maybe just taking a break. And that's what I was in the middle of taking a break from music because I was so discouraged with a bunch of different things. Things weren't working out for me. And this guy emailed me and just said, listen, your music has actually helped me get through a very depressing period of my life. And he was actually considering suicide.
Wow.
And he said that my music actually helped. And that, wow, I was just like, how do you react to that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How like, these are songs that I wrote in my basement. These are beats that I was making sort of like, you know, late night, just, you know, after going to a bar or after going for coffee, and just like, because I was bored, you know what I mean? So I figured, hey, let's do some music. And who knew that something like that would go on to impact someone's life in that manner? And I mean, that's only one email. I've gotten a bunch of different, I've gotten feedback from people from different, you know, different
walks
areas,
of life.
different walks of life, and that's flattering. That's definitely flattering, and that's kind of what drives me to keep doing this thing.
Right, and then this music video which we are about to watch, it's Good Time, of course, and it's from which album? It's
called Breakfast with a Psychopath. That's my most recent album, and this is the first single off that album.
So Good Time right now with the Identity Crisis on Musically Yours. You're watching Musically Yours, and of course to the lovely performance, exciting performance of the Identity Crisis. Paul, now regarding lyrics, all these emails you receive, are they an inspiration to you?
Not really. I think from a lyrical standpoint, I like to keep it cheeky, sort of tongue-in-cheek humor. Like I've got songs called Let's Go to the Cougar Bar, Quit Pretending You Don't Want Me, She Just Wants Me for My Body. And I mean, at first sight, they seem like they're cocky, but in reality, they're not. It's just comedy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't let it get too personal. You know, I get there on a couple levels, on a couple songs, but I find that too many songs in that nature lose people, and you're either like, you have to be either into it, or you're not into it at all, and that's just personal preference. So. From a lyrical standpoint, I'm more often than not just coming up with ideas that will catch people off guard and just be like, oh, what did he just say? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's sort of where I go.
So who are the artists you look up to, you know, the big names?
Ooh, okay, that's a long list.
No, we've got only a short time.
Yeah, it's, I personally have always admired people that did things differently, no matter what era they were in, you know what I mean? So that includes people like, that were doing things purposely different to stand out, because whatever, whatever era they happen to be in, things were getting stagnant, things were getting boring, and they just wanted to stand out and make a difference. So guys like Outkast, guys like Beck and the Beastie Boys, the Police even, from the 70s, when they came out, there was nobody mixing punk rock with reggae.
No,
nobody.
No.
Nobody was doing that. A Tribe Called Quest, when they came on the scene, they were doing the hip hop with jazz. Nobody was doing that. The list can go on and on and on and on. And even guys like Soundgarden and Nirvana, I was big influence. That was a big influence in the 90s. They were tearing it up. Stone Temple Pilots, Rolling Stones. I'm a rapper, but I listen to Rolling Stones. How many rappers could say that?
Do talk to me about your Radio Insect Records. Do you own it?
No, I'm a business partner with Radio Insect Records. It's owned by my buddy Phil Mark, who is the spearhead. He's been wanting to make an impact, particularly in the Filipino music market, for the longest time. It's sort of a breeding ground for artists that are trying to make a name in the Canadian music market, and we've got a bunch of artists that are doing pretty well. Yeah, you can just check it out, radioinsectrecords.com, for more information. There's a bunch of bands that you'd probably like on there, and I'm on there too.
You're watching Musical Years and to the performance of the iDENTiTY CRiSiS. Paul, how do you think, how could independent artists make headway in the industry right now?
How can they? It's it's tough to say. A lot of times, all it takes is a viral video on YouTube, and then all of a sudden you're a huge star. Look at Justin Bieber.
Yes.
Look at a number of different people that have made headway just by using the tools that are here. This is a day and age where, and it's changed over the course, even just the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
It's changed so much, and it's constantly evolving. So to actually map out and say, hey, you got to do this, 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 and this, it might not necessarily work.
Yeah.
I'm doing my best to get a viral video on YouTube. And
right. So, but what are the steps you've taken to popularize your music, Paul?
YouTube, definitely. That's one of the main things. I'm on iTunes, so make sure you check out itunes.com/the iDENTiTY CRiSiS. But I mean, it's all sort of about building your online presence. At one point it was MySpace. YouTube has always been a mainstay. Facebook now, Twitter, all that stuff. If you look at my business card, I've got all those links. It's ridiculous how many links you have to have on a business card these days. Yeah. And it's just whatever people are flocking to, you have to be on that, you have to be on that platform, and you have to be doing your thing. And at the same time, I mean, you can't just be force feeding your stuff. You have to be good.
Yes, I was about to say, I mean, you could have a lot of stuff on YouTube or anywhere, but other than that, if you are not really the person, well, you don't have a place, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody's going to watch you.
If
you can force people to watch you.
If you don't have an emotional connection to people, and people aren't sort of gravitating towards you, it doesn't matter how many friends you have on Facebook.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, because you're going to send as many invites to your shows as you want, and nobody's going to show up. You know what I mean? So it doesn't mean just
well, that
getting
doesn't happen to you, Paul, so we're not going to talk about that. But tell me, how do you think everyone is pressurizing everybody for a record of the year? You're pressurized to produce one of those. What do you feel about that?
Yeah, I felt like Record of the Year was an awesome album, and I had to outdo myself. And in order to do that, I didn't know what I was going to do. And it was just you know what, I'd kind of always wanted to do sort of a continuous dance mix album, which is what Breakfast with a Psychopath actually is. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not just dance music. It's mixed with hard rock and metal and reggae and dance hall and all that different stuff. And but it's one continuous mix, sort of all the BPM, all the tempo. I'm sorry, I'm getting into music language here. The tempos all match almost, and it's just one continuous mix. I wanted to make what I like to call a booty shaking experience. And so that's you know what, I didn't even think, with Record of the Year, track to track is different. Every single track is so different from the next. And I just wanted to make something consistent. And so hopefully, and the funny thing is, a lot of people are saying, wow, this album is even better than Record of the Year. And I'm like, wow, really? because I didn't give it much thought.
Right. So you know what? We'll talk more about your music. Right now, we are going to watch the Identity Crisis on Musically Yours.
Check, check. Mic check. What's up, Musically Yours? Dr. Phil, IDC to the top. Radio Insect Records. TheIdentityCrisis.com. Check it out. I really should be nominated for numerous awards, and I really should be going on my world tour. But here I am in Mississauga, back to the grind, still pushing. Your girlfriend thinks I'm fine, trying to get signed, but here it is, the brand new LP. This time done a little bit differently. You see, it's just me, Castro, the IDC, selling old t-shirts and CDs. I really should be nominated for a Grammy, and I should have a big house in Miami. I should be rubbing shoulders with big movie stars, but I drive a 92 Ford Aerostar. It's rusty at the bottom, ain't gonna last another year. I'm gonna have to find another way to move my gear. So if you gotta use Van, let me know, bro, cause I don't like the TTC and go. I'm a germaphobe, but I just wrote record of the year, record of the year. You just bought record of the year, record of the year. I should be winning record of the year, record of the year. But I won't be winning record of the year, record of the year. You're my milk, you're my honey, you're my promised land. Looking forward to the day that I can hold your hand. I've been lusting after you since the age of 14, when I picked up my first 6-string guitar. There's other women that compete for my attention, then they realize that there's no competition. Cause you're second to none, I'm still chasing, writing lyrics in my basement because your name is rock and roll, girl. You're dangerous to my soul, girl. Rock and roll is my woman. Rock and roll is my woman. Oh, oh. Rock and roll is my woman. Rock and roll is my woman.
You're watching Musically Yours, and of course to the music of the Identity Crisis, who is going to talk to me right now and let us know. Do you have anything to share with us, like anything away from music, away from serious business? A young chap like yourself, I'm sure you have a lot. How about the female fans?
Female fans?
Yes, I'm sure you have loads.
You know what's funny? I was actually, this probably isn't going to come across as flattering to myself, but they've got this new feature on YouTube where you can see who's viewed your videos. Man, apparently my demographic is males 17 to 34.
Oh boy.
I have no idea how that worked out. But I do know, in reality, I do have quite a few female fans that and they like what I do. I mean, like I said, my music initially at first sight seems like it's cocky and like arrogant, but I mean, I think women enjoy the comedic factor to what I do.
So talk to me about your birthday bash. How did that go? Because I know for one thing, people were wearing your t-shirts.
Yes, oh yeah, definitely. I actually printed 2 new t-shirt designs specifically for the show. One says, "Let's go to the Cougar Bar." One says, "Rock and roll is my woman." Yeah. And I cleared out all of my stock, not just t-shirts, but I actually cleared out all my CDs. Wow. So I actually had to reprint copies of Record of the Year and Breakfast with a Psychopath. But I cleared out everything. Right. Yeah.
So what are your future plans, Paul? We are running out of time and we want to watch your next music video. What are your future plans, Paul?
Future plans? Well, I keep playing shows, keep trying to rock faces off, trying to melt faces. But I'm actually currently in the studio right now working on my 3rd solo album called I Hate the F Word, which is slated for a November 2011 release. So make sure you check out my website and stay up to date on what's going on.
So Paul, I wish you the very best. I hope we'll hear more of you and we'll be watching more of your music videos.
Oh, thank you, yeah. Keep on checking it out, and thank you for having me. I'll be back again, for sure. Musically Yours, check it out.
I know it's so unfair to you. I relate condolence to you. Wish I knew how to separate the two. You remind me of a girl